podcast on Wednesday nights, the Paranatural Cryptid Preservation Society. And tonight, our topic is cryptids in mainstream media with a focus on all of our favorites. I know it was one of my favorites growing up, Courage the Cowardly Dog. It was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. I loved it. And if y'all don't know that in that cartoon, they had cryptids in every episode, I don't know where you were. I don't know where you were. I don't know what you were doing, but obviously you weren't paying attention. It was there every episode. And poor Courage, he was trying. He was trying to save his mama every time. He loved that woman. Oh, he loved that woman. Screw Eustace. Screw that man. Anyway, tonight we also have a guest who's going to be coming and talking with us, Miss Tina. Miss Daddy. Yeah. She's going to be up here. She's going to be talking with us tonight. She is like self-proclaimed, and I am also going to proclaim it. Okay, she knows all about Courage the Cowardly Dog. She is in it to win it, and she's going to come up here. She's going to be adding her 2 cents. She is so adorable. She has this whole thing planned out. I love it. I cannot wait. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add her up here. Come on, Miss Tina. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, Tina.
Okay, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Do I sound okay? Is the mic all right?
You sound great.
You sound great. You sound good. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So, all right. So, as everybody knows, in mainstream media, what I mean by that is we've got our movies, we've got our horror movies, we've got our psychological thrillers, we got supernatural. Everybody. Dean Winchester. I love Dean Winchester. I love Sam and Dean. So we got Supernatural, and then we've got Courage the Cowardly Dog, 1999. Great cartoon.
Okay, so I did not grow up watching Courage the Cowardly Dog, so I am going to be relying heavily on you all for the in-depth nitty-gritty of Courage the Cowardly Dog, because I just don't know. Now, I do have a list in front of me of all the Courage the Cowardly Dog monsters.
Right.
So I will be able to pull those up. But otherwise, I'm relying on you two to tell me all about it, because I was not able to experience that as a child, so yeah.
Unfortunately,
well, now you have.
She grew up in a very sheltered.
Yes, to say the least.
She wasn't able to enjoy fully Courage the Cowardly Dog.
That's right. That's right.
And going back and trying to watch it for the first time as an adult, I'm watching it through different eyes. So I don't feel like I can fully appreciate it because it didn't have that childlike wonder of Courage the Cowardly Dog. So
yeah. Unfortunately, it was canceled at some point. There's not like a definitive answer as to why it was canceled, but a lot of people think it was because kids apparently got scared of it. I don't know. I wasn't scared of it. I loved every second of it. So I don't know how much of that is true, but
I feel like that can't be the reason, because I mean, come on.
It can't be.
If you've got Ren and Stimpy and so many other like really crazy off the wall, almost like tripping type cartoons, you can't Courage the Cowardly Dog because it's too scary.
A lot of people felt that way, apparently.
That's crazy to me.
I thought
Courage was never scary to me.
Right. It wasn't scary to me either. I mean, it was right up there with like real monsters. Like, did you guys watch that?
Yes.
See, I didn't watch so scary either. Yeah, I didn't watch many of those cartoons as a kid, so I kind of missed out on all of that. Hell, I wasn't even able to watch like Scooby-Doo as a kid. I only, yeah, yeah, I only got to watch like, let's see here. Yeah, you know what? I didn't really get a lot of TV time.
Oh,
I spent my nose in books a lot.
You really took a lot of TV time.
I didn't. Like growing up, I was limited to like an hour of TV time a day. And that's not including like the family shows like TGI Friday and like, you know, those kind of shows like MacGyver, that sort of thing. But that's not exactly like kids shows.
You didn't get kids. You get to watch kid shows. I don't even think you got to watch Harry Potter.
No, not until later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the first 2 movies of Harry Potter, but after that, I just couldn't get into it anymore.
Well, with Harry Potter, there was a big shift from like children's movie to like young adult type movie to like, okay, this is getting kind of dark kind of thing. So there was definitely a shift as the movies progressed, which I'm sure the books did as well. I didn't read the books, but I did see all the movies.
Books were way better.
Books are always better. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Agreed. Okay, so on the topic of cryptids and mainstream media, Tina, I know you have chosen an episode for us. You've chosen 2 episodes, right, for us to talk about Courage the Cowardly Dog with 2 separate cryptids that you had in mind to speak about.
I have mostly researched at least one of the episodes. The other one was not able to get into depth with it that much because, panic attacks were a thing. I wasn't able to really focus. I've had at least 3 panic attacks in knowing that I was going to be a part of this.
Listen, you don't have to be nervous.
Oh, too late. My heart is already out of my chest. I'm holding it in my hand as we speak.
No need to stress.
No need to stress. Everybody here loves you. Everybody loves you. And our listeners are great anyways. You know that. We have great listeners. So tell us about this cryptid for this episode. Which episode was the one that caught your attention?
The one that caught my attention the most was King Ramses' Curse, which was episode 5 of season 1. It aired directly on January the 21st, 2000. I remember that one mainly because I'm going to shock your brains for a second. I'm going to shock your brains when I get to it. But
she's getting your noodle already.
Right. I'm gonna fry the noodle already. So basically in the episode at the beginning, you end up seeing 2 people getting chased by a helicopter in their car. You don't know what they did until you realize that they're about to bury something that apparently they wasn't supposed to have. Right outside the house that Courage lives at with Muriel and Eustace. So, a little pink, curious puppy that we all know and love was like, what's all this commotion outside my house? And the next morning he goes and digs up where the dig spot was, and he sees this, I want to say it's solid gold, but he didn't really emphasize on what it was, like what it was made out of. It was basically a plaque, and it had these weird drawings on it. One of the drawings was like this weird looking man, and then followed by like some squiggly lines, what looked to be a music player, and then finally these insects. It looked like flies or something like that. So once he saw this, he's like, I gotta show my family. So he showed Eustace, and Eustace was like, oh, this is garbage, and threw it out the window. Okay. And then he saw on the news that people are looking for that specific plague, my bad. And they said that it's worth up to $1 million. So if there's any Courage the Cowardly Dog fans, you would know that Eustace is all about getting money. He's all about trying to get as much money as he possibly can. So the second he saw that, he ran out there. He jetted. He jumped out the window. He was going for it. And he got it back. He refused to give it to anybody. And then Courage started to notice some of the drawings on the plaque was starting to disappear. One of them was the man drawing, and he sees the spirit outside the house saying, "Return the slab." He called it a slab. He said, "Return the slab or you'll suffer my curse." So obviously Eustace was not willing for it because he's like, "I want that $1 million. You're not getting this until you give me my money." So as time went on, the drawings started to disappear. They started to have this big, massive flood in the house. Everybody was trying to get to the attic because that's where they was able to get the most air at until Courage was able to get the water out. And then music started playing really, really loud, and Courage was able to stop that. Finally, these insects. I brought up these insects before because at the beginning of the show, at the beginning of the episode, you saw that the two men, after they buried the plague, the same spirit told them to give it to him. They said no, and those same insects came out of nowhere and made them disappear. You don't know what happened to them. You don't know how it happened. The camera just panned to the house. You can hear their blood-curdling screams in the background, and then they went back to them, and the car was gone. They was gone, and the car was gone. So those same insects was about to come to the house and destroy everything that Courage knew and loved. Courage was able to convince Eustace at this time to give the plaque back. What?
Okay, so what are these insects?
I don't know. They look like flies, but bigger. They don't look like they have stingers like they're like wasps or bees or anything like that. They just look like overly sized flies.
Huh.
Do they have pictures?
Okay.
Say again?
Do they have pinchers?
No.
So they didn't look
they just look like flies.
Like giant flies.
So it's more of a pestilence kind of thing.
Right. But the thing is, everything that those insects touched, it disappeared. The house started to disappear as the insects was going down onto the house.
Yeah, weird. that sounds like a locust. It
sounds like a locust kind of thing.
Yeah, it sounds like
it looked like a fly. I mean, the wall was disappearing, all the furniture. The only thing that was left was the living room, and that was barely intact.
Okay.
Now, in terms of cryptids, now I'm looking through the list of monsters here, and the Black Puddle Queen kind of reminds me of the Selkies, or is that about right?
Sirens, yes. They remind me of the sirens a little bit, because she reminds me of the sirens a little bit because you did hear a little song until Eustace got close enough to the water and she just yanked.
That does sound like a siren.
It does sound like a siren. And she was really pretty. She was gorgeous. Crazy thing, little Tina kind of had a crush on her until she went crazy. And she showed her true form with the teeth and the fangs. And I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah, no, I don't like you anymore. But I had a huge crush on her because she was really, really, really pretty. And I can understand why, first off, Eustace, you're a married man. I don't know why you're looking at other women like that. You got a whole wife downstairs. But he was looking at her. And he was
the siren song.
He was like, oh, hello, my name is Eustace. He was tucking his hair behind his ear, giving a full-on Debbie Ryan. And then Miss Girl grabbed him by the collar. It was like, yoink. And that was it.
Oh, my God. So what we have learned so far is that we cannot take Tina anywhere where there might be sirens because she will be told.
Yeah, I will not be able to avoid that whatsoever. I'm sorry, can't do it. Won't do it. It's over for me. So yeah, no, you can't take me anywhere. After listening to y'all podcast so many times, I realized I can't go outside. I can't go anywhere in Maryland. I can't visit any place. I can't go hiking. I damn sure can't go hiking. I can't go anywhere, honestly. And now I can't go near bodies of water where there could be sirens. I keep saying I'm going to go to Pluto. I keep saying it.
With a lifetime supply of chicken nuggies.
With a lifetime supply of chicken nuggies. That's it. That's it. I'm just taking it. In total, I might take Jesse with me. I might take my little brother with me. I'm thinking about it. Okay, because both of them gets on my nerves. So I'm thinking about it. I might take him with me. I'm saying this as both of them are in this podcast listening.
Awesome. Hi.
That's awesome.
Hi.
I'm saying that as both of them are here. Hi.
Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining tonight. That's amazing. Okay, so Tina can't be anywhere near sirens because she will drown. That will be her doom. And we need to send her to Pluto with a lifetime supply of chicken nuggets. Got it.
Yeah.
So in this episode that we're talking about with the locusts and everything, and so what we're building up to here, what would you compare this to in real life?
Okay, so here's where I'm about to fry your noodles. Recently, in Egypt, here we go. Here comes the craziness. Recently in Egypt, I actually have a question for you before I even get to it. Was this episode trying to warn us? Keep that question in your head. Okay. Keep that in your head. Because recently in Egypt, let me find all of the stuff that I was about to say. They dug up 250 sarcophagi with all of them having intact mummies inside of them. And they found over 100 Egyptian artifacts. Now, I'm bringing this up.
Is that the tombs of Saqqara?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm bringing this up because after research, I didn't even notice. Jesse had to confirm it with me. Apparently, King Ramses is an actual person. I did not know that. I thought he was just a character that they brought up, that they made up for Courage the Cowardly Dog episode. I looked up, I was doing research, that he's an actual thing.
Oh, yeah. There was a whole line of Ramses.
I didn't even know that. I was like, oh. And so what made me put these two together was, okay, clearly he was a king in his lifetime. Clearly. And apparently that item is his. And he put a curse on it. Anybody that touches it, takes it away from his gravesite, will have a curse. And now we're finding out in real life, people are digging up 250 sarcophagi and over 100 Egyptian artifacts.
So what you're saying is we just need to put it back. Just put it back. Just put it back. Touch it.
Just put it back. Don't touchy. No touchy. No touchy.
Yeah.
Don't even look. Mind your business.
Mind your business.
Mind your damn business. Don't get me wrong. I love all about history. I love learning stuff. Once I found out that King Ramses was an actual person and that there was a line of Ramses, I was intrigued. I was reading into it. So I love that. But
I love that.
I believe it was either Ramses the Second or Ramses the Third that actually made up part of the whole Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt. That whole story. I believe the king of Egypt or the pharaoh of Egypt at the time was either Ramses the Second or Ramses the Third. So there was definitely. And again, what happened with Egypt, with the plagues and all of the pestilence and the death of the firstborn and all of that. So Ramses' curse may be a real thing.
Say again.
We need to put it back. We need to put it back.
Because
put it back in the
grave
ground.
robbing and disturbing the dead in general was considered one of the most horrific crimes that you could ever commit in Egyptian culture. And it was one of the easiest ways for you to get the death penalty. That's if there wasn't a curse on some of the things that you took, especially if it belonged to a pharaoh.
Now,
absolutely, it's
I believe that when they uncovered Tutankhamun, I think everybody who uncovered that whole site died in mysterious ways. Like every single person.
Everybody.
Yeah. So that's just crazy.
Well,
and circumstances, like one person having a heart attack, another having, died in a car accident, or, like weird, just like seemingly unlinked occurrences.
Right.
So,
and I don't correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't do much research on this, but there was also, I saw on TikTok that apparently these people that was diving in the ocean, they found like this big old kind of like a box, and it was like rusted, and it looked like it was there. It was put in the ocean purposely, and they took it out. And apparently some of the people that discovered it and helped take it out ended up dying.
No.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
No, don't worry. No. Didn't we just say mind your business? And here you go, worrying about what's in the damn box. Don't worry about the box. Put the box back in where it belongs. See, no.
It's like at the end of 7.
I expected Sooth to say that, not expecting you to say that. Listen.
Have you seen the movie 7?
Yes.
You have to see. Okay, look, anybody in here, and our listeners, you have to do it. If you have not seen the movie 7, it's a quote from the movie 7. It's hilarious. It's Brad Pitt, what's in the box at the end of it. It's terrifying. You don't want to know what's in the box.
Don't look in the box. We're not worried about what's in the box. I'm worried about staying alive.
Okay, look. I mean,
no, ain't no
okay.
what.
So you have seen Sooth's screen name on Discord, right? Pandora the Explorer. She's gonna open the box.
She watched Dora the Explorer too much as a child. She watched that show way too much. So now she's trying to open things that don't belong to her instead of putting the damn thing back or leaving it alone.
Look now. Look.
No.
Y'all ain't gotta go with me, but look, I want to go. I want to know what's in the box.
I know you. Whatever happens to you is going to happen to me in association of knowing you.
I was gonna say, here's the thing: when you open Pandora's box, it affects everyone.
What if I just open it up just a little bit so we can put like one of those?
Don't even take a picture of it. I know.
But there's the thing. What if it's important? What if it's got like answers?
And they
to
wouldn't
all
put it in a tight sealed box.
Okay, I get that. What if it has like answers to a lot of things that we have questions for? Also, what if you die?
Right?
It wouldn't. But I would. Biohazard suit or something. I don't know.
No.
I still want to know. I still kind of want to know what's in there. I still kind of want to know.
I have the same feeling.
Follow. Thank you so much for follow.
I want to know what's in between the paws of the Sphinx. I really want to know because Edgar Casey talked a whole lot about what's in that box under the paws of the Sphinx, and we're not allowed to go down there. And because the Egyptologists are like, no, it's sacred area. But meanwhile, there's like supposed to be the wealth of knowledge of pre-flood technology and, existence and all of this craziness that's supposed to be inside this room. And they've actually found the room. They've done seismographs pointing down at ground penetrating radar down into the ground to see what's under there, and they have found a 12-foot by like 24-foot room. That's a big freaking room. And
that's a room they don't need to be in.
I volunteer as tribute. I will go.
Wait, isn't Sue supposed to be the one that's volunteering, and we're supposed to be the ones that have some sense and not go in there?
See, now that would normally be
you're rubbing off on her, Sue.
That would normally be the case, but I'm the mysteries girl. Like, I want to know. Like, those mysteries plague my mind. I want to know.
Between the both of y'all. Between the both of y'all, I can't hang out with either one of y'all.
They have doorways. They've got a hole in the top of the head of the Sphinx. They've also got a hole in the side of the Sphinx, in the neck of the Sphinx. There's plenty of holes to get in. They wanted us to get in.
No, that was just for decoration. They did not want you to go in there.
You pleading your case is hilarious. Listen, Linda. Listen, look here. Listen
here.
Hold on to the leash, okay, outside, and then when I get too far, you can just pull me back.
Now, I have heard that. Now, keep in mind, this is all hearsay, so take it for what it's worth, grain of salt, or whatever the case may be. Like, okay, so supposedly they have actually followed some of the underground tunnels and stuff, and theoretically, this is what they say, there is actually a full-blown subterranean city underneath Cairo, Egypt.
Oh, Lord.
Now we're talking pyramids under the ground, not buried under the ground. Pyramids built in giant caverns under the ground.
No, I'm good.
In fact, the subway system that they built over the last 20 or 30 years, that subway system, it makes almost like a U shape around the city of Cairo because they can't just make a subway track straight through because it's empty. It's an empty void. There's there's a cavern system in there, which, for the record, may or may not lead into the inner earth, which we've talked about in the past. I won't bring it up again because I could talk about it forever. I'm just saying.
I get lost in the mall, so I know I'm not going in there. Okay, hold up. See, wait a minute. Now that CERN has been turned back on, and we've all been going through these weird changes and everything that's been coming up, because I have been seeing more and more Mandela effects come up, okay?
Yes.
So it's interesting that Tina has brought up this subject about Egypt through Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because, and then it leads us to the Sphinx here, because I don't know if you ladies have looked at the Sphinx recently, because the Sphinx eyes were open for a long time. Yes, I don't know if you guys have to go look. The Sphinx eyes were open for a very long time. They were open. Okay. I don't know if you guys remember if you've ever looked at the Sphinx, or if any of our listeners have looked at the Sphinx. Now, let's see what you remember, because when I looked at the Sphinx, and I am a long-time lover of Egypt, Egyptology is one of my things. I love it. The Sphinx eyes were closed. Or open.
I remember her eyes were closed the whole time.
Now the Sphinx eyes are closed.
When were they open?
Weird. I've always known them to be open.
See, for me, they were always open, but here recently, they have been closed.
Why is she opening and closing her eyes?
It's part of Egyptology. It's part of the mythology of Egypt, okay? It has to, hold on now, it's supposedly, allegedly, it has to do with end of times. It has to do with the apocalypse. And every pantheon, every religion, every culture has their own take on the apocalypse, on the end of times, the end of days, however you want to put it. You've got the Norse, you've got the Egyptology, everybody's got their own version of how the world, or society, I should say, has its own downfall. right? Well, with this one, it starts with the Sphinx where her eyes close. Okay. Also, the pyramids. How do you remember the pyramids?
I remember the Great Pyramid being in the middle.
Yeah.
How many sides do you remember the Great Pyramid having?
Well, 4.
I would have said 4. Yeah.
Well, if you were to do a Google Earth search for the Great Pyramid, it is now listed with a picture over the top of the Great Pyramid that it has not 4, but 8 sides.
Huh?
Wait, what? Okay, I'm looking this up right
now. Yes. You look it up. The Great Pyramid does not have 4, it has 8 sides.
That's
now,
great.
The more people you talk to, you'll have, and I'm not talking about like a handful, like 4 or 5 people hear this, 4 or 5 people will agree with you or whatever. I'm talking about thousands of people. Like you guys were saying, the Sphinx always had her eyes open, or the Sphinx always had her eyes closed. Everybody's always like, well, no, the Great Pyramid only had 4 sides. We're talking about like hundreds of thousands of people.
I'm looking it up right now. I want to see
that. Well, now it's coming up that the Great Pyramid has 8 sides, not 4.
But that would make it not a pyramid.
Right?
I'm just saying.
Okay,
so
wait, it actually does say that it's 8-sided.
Yeah, it says that the Great Pyramid.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It says, despite what you may think about this ancient structure, the Great Pyramid is an 8-sided figure, not a 4-sided figure. I've always known it to have only 4 sides.
Right? It now has 8. Now it's my turn to bake noodles. Yeah.
Now, my noodle is baked. Like, I don't understand.
We have
it's not a pyramid anymore. It's an ice cream cone.
Also, I would just like to know why on Google Earth the Great Pyramid and the Middle Pyramid, like the Pyramid of Khufu, Pyramid of Cheops, like those have 3D renderings where you can like scroll around them and look at them from different angles and everything. Meanwhile, poor little third pyramid is flat, like 2D, flat on the ground, no love, just like.
Well,
you know who their favorite is,
right?
Well, there's not 3 pyramids anymore. There's now 4.
Huh?
Yes, there used to be just the 3, and it was supposed to coincide with a certain constellation. Now there's 4 pyramids.
Well, and it was also talked about that, I mean, people have theorized this for years, the obvious fact that the head of the Sphinx doesn't belong on it. And if it doesn't belong on it, what was it before? So now there's some people think that it is a Anubis dog, which if you haven't looked up Anubis dogs, they're really cool looking. But the Anubis dog or a lion. Now, the lion actually makes sense because if you take the star chart and you like type in 11 to 12,000 years ago, the constellation Leo would rise with the rising sun. Now, bear in mind, how do you see a constellation that's behind the sun? Just curiosity's sake. Like, they somehow knew that the constellation Leo was behind the sun, and the Sphinx was originally a lion that was looking at its mirror image as above, so below, mirror image of itself in the sky. But how did they know that it was there if it's behind the rising sun? Unless you've got like some mad astrology skills.
Okay, so now my heart is in my hand, and now my brain is fried.
Right? We have a comment, ladies. Let's see what our comment has to say. If it'll play for me.
We don't open Pandora's box. We just kind of drill a hole and put a camera in.
Look.
Okay, no. I was on your side until you said put a camera in there. Never mind. No. No. Mm-mm.
Look.
You could just leave it alone.
He's got a... No, we can't just... No.
No. Leave it alone. A little side note. A little side note. So me and Jesse are currently watching like a documentary. I don't like saying the word, but I'm going to say it. Apparently Skinwalker Ranch. And instead of them just up and leaving, because clearly they're having cattle die, they're having animals getting hurt, injured, they're having people getting sick and dizzy. Instead of them just up and leaving, they're like, let's dig some more. Let's dip our toes in it. Just look. No, take your whole toe out. Take that damn big toe out and leave.
Oh, they're going further, and they're just poking the bear at this point. They're launching rockets. Did you see last week?
No, we just realized that they're still continuing on with the show. Like, we finished watching the first season just last night, and then we've realized, they're continuing the show. So we're just starting season 2. Like, we're a couple of episodes in.
Oh, yeah. They are, like, launching rockets in the sky, shooting laser beams. Okay, last episode, I won't give any spoilers, but last episode was really cool. They integrated lasers and rockets. It was really cool. So
they just need to stay home. Go home.
Oh, yeah. And they found something in the mesa. Uh-huh.
All right, well, we're singing up tonight. I'm making some coffee.
That's what I will be watching after this, though, because
I'm getting back on call with him so we can finish watching it once we're done with this.
See, it's not just me. It's not just y'all want to go. Y'all want to see this stuff. Like,
no, wait. No, I don't want to go. I'm good. It's safe. I like to stay safely at home. Even Jesse made a couple of comments like, "Oh, we're gonna camp there." No, the hell we not. I'm not.
See, Jesse sounds like that was my book. Okay,
no,
Jesse,
you do not. Don't encourage him.
I'm encouraging. Let's go. Let's do the thing. Me and Jesse.
We're not.
I'm with him. Let's go.
I refuse.
See, I would rather go to discover something that's a little bit less evil, shall we say? I'm good with the unknown. I want to discover. I want to explore. I want to find the unknown. But not if it's evil. If it's evil, I'm willing to leave it in the box.
Can't we just have like a nice trip to the aquarium? A good trip to Barnes and Noble, or Dave and Buster's if you want to get a little frisky with it. You know, can't we just take a nice stroll in the garden?
There's nothing quite like being deep in the woods, like deep in the wilderness, and just like feeling the peace that nature provides. There's something really special about that.
Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, the sound of nature and like the little birds chirping.
And, like all cryptids and evil, weird craziness aside, like the nature is a wonderful, beautiful place, and you would be robbing yourself of so much joy if you didn't go and experience it.
I'll give you that.
Go to a park, throw a blanket down under a tree, something like that. Just, it's important.
No, it's not. That doesn't sound like fun at all. I need to go somewhere a little more.
You want to go to the spooky bridges, the bridge to hell, and I'll tell you what.
Dancing on your bridge, goat man. I'm told that's what I want to do.
As we speak, Jesse just messaged me saying that he would camp at Skinwalker Ranch. I cannot.
Right there. That's my people right there. That's
y'all have fun.
He's not going. I refuse. I did not spend 7+ years being best friends with him for him to go ahead and just be like, well, I'm gonna go over here. Let's just scurry on along to the death. No, where you gonna bring your scurry tail back over here with your addiction to Mountain Dew and stay over there, not to death.
We'll send you postcards, okay?
From afterlife? From the afterlife, okay.
Not from the afterlife. From Skinwalker.
No, you will not.
I am all for going to different dimensions and going to, traveling. I will be a psychonaut all day long. But the lower dimensions, the darker dimensions, y'all have fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
Pass. Hard pass.
I'm good with just watching the documentary on it.
That's funny. I think my husband would be like the same way with you guys. Like, we don't need to. He'd be right behind y'all, like trying to keep me from going into the areas that say, like, beware, do not enter, no trespassing.
I can picture it now. You with one of those like bungee wrist strap things, and like trying to like pull towards the fence, and he's like pulling you back, like, no, you can't go there. You're like, come on, just a little bit, please.
I just want to That is hilarious. That is fun. Like distract me like a squirrel, huh? And put me on a leash like those toddlers at the airport.
I feel like one of these days, Sooth is going to convince us to hang out with her one day, right? And we're going to be all for it, okay? Because who doesn't like hanging out and like eating food and stuff? And we're going to think it's just that. And she's going to take us to the building where Annabelle's locked up at and be like, well, let's walk on in, huh?
Yeah. No. No, that's exactly how it's gonna be. I'm gonna.
She's like, surprise, picnic in hell.
Look here.
We're gonna notice the building and be like, Sooth, what are we doing here? Oh, nothing. We're just driving by. Don't worry about it.
It'll just take a second. We'll be out of here in no time. 3 hours later.
3 hours later, she's trying to open the box. No.
Open the box. I'll just lure you guys with fluffy blankets and comfort food. Put it all in the back of the car and be like, come on, it'll be...
How dare you lure me in with my love that is food? How dare you?
How dare you? I'm conniving and clever.
We've got a comment.
Uh-oh.
Just get a T-shirt. I survived Skinwalker Ranch, and all it cost me was my sanity.
There you go.
That's it. He's got the right idea.
Just bring me back the T-shirt, and I'm good. I'll be okay with the T-shirt.
You're just gonna stand outside. That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be like that tour bus outside on the dirt road next to the rickety thing.
Here's my problem. I don't go looking for stuff like that. That kind of stuff just finds me. I don't look for stuff. Like, I'm about to tell you some stories. I went on a camping trip. It was actually my first camping trip with my now fiance. And when we were out there, we were having a great time. Went to sleep that night in the tent, and everything was fine until about 4:00 in the morning when he woke up and he heard this interesting humming going on. Now, mind you, this was not the roar of a jet engine. This was not the sound of helicopter blades, whooshing. This was a vibratory, droning hum. And it was really far away at first, and then it kept getting closer and closer. And when it came over our campsite, there were these lights darting all around the campsite, like darting past the tent, like scanning and searching really quick. Meanwhile, he said that I was dead to the world, that I would not wake up no matter how hard he shook me, and that by the time I did wake up, it had already gone. And it was only after it had gone that I was able to wake up. So there was that one. And then the other one was just recently. We went to a lake. We went camping on a lake. And we were up over this, like our campsite was located on the other side of this little hill. It was like a tiny little hill that kind of, you hike 30 feet and you're on top of it. And then you look down at the lake. Well, I had once again fallen asleep. This was at around 11 o'clock at night. And my fiance was starting to go to sleep until all of a sudden he sees this rainbow-colored orb flying down the road towards the water, like towards the boat launch. It went zipping down to the boat launch, and then it started coming up the hill, up over the top of the hill and towards the truck. And when it was about 30 feet away, it like went whooshing really, really fast out to the middle of the lake and then shot straight up and into the sky. And then he was able to wake me up. So,
see, you're telling me all these stories, and I don't see why you should have a problem going to places like Skinwalker Ranch.
The difference is that I don't go to places; they come to me. Why would I want to go to a place creepy like that?
I was just saying it shouldn't be that big of a difference, though, because you're already. I mean, I feel like you're already being haunted, so I mean, it's not like that big of a change for you.
Okay, so we've got some time. Let me. Should I?
Great sigh.
Because I'm debating whether or not I should tell this story. Because if I tell this story, I'm really putting it out there. I'm really showing my crazy at this point. So
you know, honey. We set our crazy out on the front porch and put it in a rocking chair and give it a glass of sweet tea down here. So you might as well just go ahead and air it out for everybody.
All right.
You might as well put it out there for God and country.
All right. Well, let me just say this then. In your mind, before I go into this, be thinking, is this a dream or is this reality? Okay?
I feel like I'm in a Queen song.
It'll make a whole lot of sense here in a minute. All right.
Freddie Mercury, is that?
So back in a previous marriage, this would have been 2012 or so, give or take. Around 2012, I woke up in the middle of the night. And now normally I keep my door closed. It's just a habit that I've always done. And so when I go to bed, I close the door. If the kids need to come in, they're welcome to come in, but the door stays closed when I'm sleeping. And so I woke up middle of the night and the door was open. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I get up and I go check on the kids thinking maybe they had come in and, couldn't wake us up or whatever and ended up going back to bed. Well, both kids sound asleep in bed. That's when I heard a noise downstairs. So I went downstairs and the front door was wide open. I walk up to the front door and look out, and there is someone walking up my driveway towards the cul-de-sac. Well, they hop into a car and I close the front door, and I run into my garage and get my car, and I start following them. And I follow them, a couple miles to the local Kroger, where I follow them behind the Kroger. Now, keep in mind, this is in the middle of the night, and I don't know why I would be this crazy, but, So I open the door, and I step out, just ready to, be like, what the hell, man? You can't just come into my house. And when I opened the door and stepped out, I saw what looked to be Slender Man. Now, I say Slender Man because I don't really have a whole lot else to go by. There weren't the creepy tentacle things that Slender Man normally has, but this being was about 12 feet tall, give or take, and he didn't have a face. And I looked at it, at where the face should have been, and he looked at me. And then he looked down at his stomach where a normal person's head would be height-wise, and then looked back at me and said, "You can see me." And I had one of those oh shit moments, like, you need to go. And I jumped back in my vehicle and went into a blind, just racing anywhere I could to get free of this. And so I ended up crashing into through somebody's carport into their house, right? Like right into their living room. And I jump out of my car and I'm screaming because, I'm losing my mind. And this old man comes down and he's in his, underwear and big gray beard. And he's like just totally confused as to what the hell's going on. And while he's trying to calm me down to where I can explain things, this being comes in through the wreckage, and the old guy doesn't seem to notice him. And then the being puts his finger on the old guy's forehead, and the guy just collapses, just drops to the ground. And then he turns around towards me, and then he puts his finger on my forehead. But I didn't collapse. I just lost all control of my body. And so I start following him out into the driveway. And again, no control over myself. I get out to the driveway and there is this, for lack of a better word, flying saucer. There were no lights. There was no blinking. There was nothing to discern that the flying saucer was there other than the fact that it was a disc in the sky that was blotting out the stars. And then everything went black. I don't remember anything after that other than waking up on a metal table. And now I heard talking between a male's voice and a female's voice. And I was completely paralyzed. But I was starting to kind of regain control, and I kind of tried to reach out with my fingers and see if there was anything I could get to, help me regain control and hopefully arm myself. And I ended up knocking this metal canister that was on the table. And all of a sudden they both stopped talking, and the guy goes, "She's awake." And he walks over, and at this point, he looks just like a normal person again. And he comes over and he kind of half sits on the side of the table, and he starts talking to me, telling me this and that. I won't go into the details. It's not really relevant to the story. Just has to do with future events kind of thing. And then this woman comes walking over, and he looks up at her and goes, "This time, do it right." And she holds this long needle right over my left eye. And again, I'm paralyzed still, so I can't do anything.
Nope, you got me with that one.
A long needle over my left eye. And he looks down at me and goes, "Don't worry. When you wake up, this will all be just a dream." And then she jammed the needle in my eye, and I sat up in my bed with my eye on fire, and I grabbed my eye and almost screamed. And then when I finally realized that I was back in my bed, the pain kind of subsided, and the only thing that was out of place was that my door was open. But the car was back in the garage, no sign of any kind of wreck or crash or anything like that. like everything was in place other than the fact that my door was open. And I laid back down and tried to go to sleep again. And all I could think was, oh God, they're watching me. And eventually, after I don't know how long, I finally passed back out. But it was right around dawn when I sat up in bed and was, with the eye thing. And so I really don't know if I was straight up abducted or if this was all just an elaborate dream. But I do know that most dreams don't carry details in your memory as long as actual events. And I remember every single detail of this. So you tell me, was I dreaming or did I get abducted?
Now, see, why did you say that? See, okay, you're right. We don't usually remember every detail of a dream like that. But when I think of a detailed dream, I think of Chucky trying to kill me. And I know all the details to that dream because I had it over and over again. So was you abducted and was Chucky trying to kill me?
That's the thing. That's the big question. Now, I will say that there have been 6 times. Now, I am very clear on these details. There have been 6 times that I have randomly gone outside, whether to throw the trash in the trash bin or to just, be sitting out by the fire pit outside. There have been 6 times that I have looked up into the sky and my eyes went straight to one fixed point in the sky with a really bright star that the moment my eyes made contact with it, it blinked out and did not come back. So, I don't know if I'm being watched. I don't know if I'm being observed. I don't know if I was abducted. I don't know. But this stuff, it finds me. So, yeah.
Yeah, after all of that, Skinwalker Ranch should be just fine for you. I don't understand.
Those people from Skinwalker Ranch needs to come and investigate me. Forget Skinwalker Ranch.
Speaking of Skinwalker Ranch, so after hearing all of this, while we was listening to you, Jesse had messaged me. It was like, so basically, sending you to Skinwalker Ranch might actually open its full potential and rip a hole in the fabric of reality. Seeing as you're a magnet to all the supernatural and everything, you might be able to actually bring it all out. So usually, I do not condone people going to places where there's spooks and potential death. But in this case, you might need to pack up your stuff and go.
But I don't want to. I'm scared.
Listen.
I got courage enough for all of us. Y'all can borrow some from me. We can do that.
The only courage I need is courage to Cali Dog. That's it. That's enough courage for me.
And I can't even enjoy liquid courage because I'm allergic.
Oh, God.
I can't do the liquid courage. Tooth knows.
It's true. But we'll just give you a drink or something and you'll be fine. You'll be great. Everything will be great. I mean,
lots of plant matter and I'll be good.
Yeah.
Give me lots of herbs.
We got a little bit off topic, but off of Courage the Coward stuff. But I mean, it was a great segue though, because it did bring us to Skinwalker Ranch, which is another example of cryptids and mainstream media, because that is a great show. It's a great show. I love that show. I actually need to get caught up on it, but
we're actually really addicted to it.
It's so good.
Us too.
It's so good.
It's a guilty pleasure for me because, yes, it's produced. It's got a lot of dramatization and all of this stuff, which makes it fun. But there's some really creepy stuff going on over there.
Right.
True.
People's brains swelling and orbs of light and radiation, all kinds of stuff.
It is crazy. It is kind of crazy. It reminds me of that other show. I kind of got too frustrated to watch it anymore. It's an island show. What is that show called? Something Island.
Curse of Oak Island?
Yes, that one.
I've never heard of
it. Okay, it's good. It's a good show. Okay, but I got so frustrated. They do. They get to a point where you can't watch it anymore. You have to. It's like they're like, oh, it's going to be a big find. We're going to drill into this room under the ground. Blah 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 blah. And then they drill into it and they cut away from it. And they're like, oh, we're going to find out what was in the room next episode. And then you get to next episode, and they never explain anything about the room. And you're just like, you never found anything. So then I had to quit watching it because I got too frustrated. But with Skinwalker Ranch, it's completely different because they actually find stuff. They find things.
Oh, yeah.
They have evidence that's like right there in front of your face. They don't try to like hide anything from you, you know, because it's all right there. And they're not like afraid to tell you, we didn't find crap. There was nothing there. They're not afraid to say, we didn't find anything, you know. Or they'll go back and they'll search another place that he previously searched, you know, and they'll be like, we didn't have the right technology then, but we got permission to use this one now. And hey, guess what? We found all of this crap, which was really, I like that they do that. I like that they'll, you know, you have to go through channels and get permits and all that stuff, which I respect, but they explain the whole process to you. They don't like hold it back from you. So you're understanding what's going, you know, what you have to go through, the processes and the channels that they have to go through to be able to do something. As opposed to Oak Island, where they just kind of leave these big gaps where you can't.
Right.
It was just super frustrating. But that's just it's another show. It's another good cryptid show that you should totally watch if you're not watching it.
Now, what are you guys' theories about, like, what's in the mesa? What's in the mesa?
What's in the mesa?
Like, I personally think that there is something like an actual like building structure under the mesa. But that's just me. What do you think?
I'm thinking, okay, because I'm going right back to like Courage Cowardly Dog and everything that everybody has dug up so far and everything. I think there is something that we should not be trying to discover that's down there that has a curse and that has the entire land, the entire everything, just like kind of like protecting it, kind of, sort of. And the closer they get to it, the more worse things get. I'm thinking it might be something like that. I think there's something down there that we shouldn't find. We should leave it alone.
I think that there is some kind of control room, or so the mesa, that area of Skinwalker Ranch is like this giant satellite dish, and it all kind of focuses up to one point up in the sky, like 3,000 feet, or I don't know, somewhere up there. But it all focuses in this one point, and I think that it's like interdimensional stuff. And I do believe that there are not only cryptids and creatures that can use the energy to move back and forth between different dimensions, but I think that there's some like higher advanced, I don't want to say alien technology, but like very highly advanced forgotten technology. That would be my guess. And unfortunately, because we're still basically a bunch of Neanderthals running around, like we're not equipped to be able to handle that kind of technology at our current state.
Right. Now with the
it's
creatures
like,
and everything.
Go ahead.
Okay, so with the creatures and everything, I was thinking kind of like the back rooms as well.
Sure.
Ooh, what if something is down there that is allowing, like you said, allowing these creatures to come through just willy-nilly, and it might just be like the back room.
That's a possibility for sure.
Like a creature hub.
Being this reality.
See, now I want to poke it.
No pokey.
You would.
No, I want to.
No pokey. No pokey.
Oh,
I want to.
we got a cop here.
Oh.
Get a T-shirt that says "I survived Sooth."
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'll get 50 of those. I'll get 50 of those immediately.
New merch idea.
Yep.
Oh God.
Yep.
Oh, we've got so many merch ideas. Now I'm gonna have to add that one to the pile. Oh Lord.
Yep. I will get 50 of those in different colors.
Sooth with a box.
Yes.
Right next to her. With her just reaching out to poke it.
I'm poking the box. I want to.
No pokey.
I'm touching the butt.
We know touchy. Leave it alone.
No. I want to poke it. I want to see what's under the mesa. I mean, if it's
But do y'all remember the question I asked y'all?
Yes. Do we think?
Do y'all think? Do you think after hearing everything, like everything that we have dug up, didn't hear anything from the episode? Excuse my language, but do you think we might be royally fucked?
Yeah, I've thought that for a while now. I mean, if we're being honest.
If we're being honest, truly, yeah.
I mean, no need to beat around the bush or anything.
Honestly, yeah. Got a point there.
Sure. I mean, we could be. Yeah, maybe. I mean, we've got a lot of apocalyptic warning bells going off. You got the Sphinx. You've got the picture.
I mean, there's only one pillar left standing around. There's a certain lingam, which a lingam in India is like a very sacred thing. It's like a standing pillar. And there's one location, there's a lingam that has supposedly been there since like the beginning of the first age. And I can't remember the actual name of these ages that they call them, but basically we're in like the final age, and they say that when all the pillars, because there's these pillars that surround this lingam, they say that when all these pillars have been destroyed, the world will come to an end. Well, there's only one pillar left, and it's starting to look pretty rough. So I'm thinking they may have called it.
I mean, it's true. You got. Well, I mean, it's like I was saying, the pyramids have changed. The Sphinx has changed. You've got what happened to the Georgia Guidestones. Okay. Then you've got the obelisk in China that was struck by lightning. Like the same day. I'm putting that in air quotes because there was a time difference, but it's considered what's the same day that the Georgia Guidestones went down. This one was struck by lightning, and it was the one that was given to the Chinese people. I think it's a Viking era obelisk.
Oh, wow.
That was erected, and it was struck by lightning and destroyed. So you got that happen. And then, I don't know if anybody's seen this, and I think it's pretty cute. And there's a lot of speculations and stuff underneath in the comments in the video. There is a raven that currently residing at a zoo that just kind of popped up at the zoo. And one of our listeners here, Dylan, he should know all about it, who has been repeating over and over again the same phrase, the hanged man is coming. And if we have any Norse pagan listeners with us right now, you know who the hanged man is. The hanged man, for those who don't know, is Odin. Or Woden, the Allfather. Yeah.
From hanging from the world tree.
Right. So that's supposedly the ravens, that they are the the creatures of Woden. And when they're referring to the hanged man, Odin, it's a part of an apocalyptic, I guess,
sign of the times.
Yes, or sign of the times, prediction, what have you, that the old gods are returning. So it's like CERN just gone ahead and just turned us all upside down. I don't know if anybody's been keeping up with CERN. This is something else that we're going to be discussing on the Paranormal Umbrella on Friday. We're discussing the Mandela effect. No, not this Friday. It's next Friday, I think, because this Friday we're going to be doing war. Yeah, so we're going to have 2 Paranormal Umbrellas back to back. We're going to have Paranormal Umbrellas this Friday. It's going to be the Warrens, Lorraine and Ed. And then the following Friday, because we're going to do a special here, we're going to be talking about the Mandela effect and the effects of CERN. Some people say CERN just, they just booted CERN up and it's just doing its thing. It's no big deal. And I've been listening to a scientist who is a physicist explain CERN and what CERN does. And then you've got people like me who are conspiracy theorists and like to have fun with stuff like that because, it's just fun and it makes life interesting. That CERN booted up and our dimension and other dimensions, parallel dimensions, just got flipped on their head. So CERN was booted up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, July 5th. And ever since then, shit's been cray-cray. So we're going to be discussing that not this Friday, but next Friday. And we're also going to have a guest speaker with us that day, too. So, and she has already been sending me... I'm excited. Yes, she has already been sending me all of her list that she has been working on of all of the Mandela effects that she has currently come up with. So, anywho, look at that. It's 9/11. I want to say thank you, everybody, for coming out and listening to us tonight on your favorite Wednesday night podcast, the Paranatural Cryptid Preservation Society. And thank you so much to Tina, our guest speaker.
Yay! Thank you.
Well, I hope I wasn't interrupting anybody or seemed nervous.
No.
No, absolutely.
You did awesome.
You did fabulous, and I really appreciate you joining us tonight.
Now I feel silly for having the panic attack.
As you should, because you did great. So I hope you join us for another podcast, hopefully in the future sometime. Sure. I would really like to be back. But yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting making the connections that we did tonight from the mainstream media and a cute, wonderful, Snoopy cartoon that we all love and grew up with. Mm-hmm. So, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. For our listeners, thank you so much for being here tonight. We will be back next Wednesday for the Paranatural Cryptid Preservation Society at 8 o'clock. I'm not sure which cryptid we're doing next week, but I'm sure we will come up with something fun and exciting. Again, every other Friday night, we have the Paranormal Umbrella, where we discuss history, mysteries, ghosties, anything and everything paranormal that you can possibly think of, and exorcism. Demons. Real fun. So you're going to have to join us about Ed and Lorraine Warren. It's going to be fun. And like I said, following Friday, we're going to do all of these Mandela effects and discussing CERN and what that has to do with paranormal dimensions. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Can I say something real quick?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
I'm not going to call out your names, but those that have joined the podcast to give me support, because y'all know I was having panic attacks. Thank you, and I love y'all very much.
Oh, thank y'all. Absolutely. Thank you for coming out and supporting our friends. I love Tina. She always adds something fun and wonderful to our podcast. She has been a day one listener, day one supporter. And I'm so happy that she is my friend and she has been nothing but love and kindness and support.
Oh, you're not going to make me cry on this podcast. I refuse.
I am doing it right now. You have been nothing but awesome, and I am really, really happy that you're here and that you can support us through this and that you can be a guest. And I hope that you can be a guest again on the future podcast.
I would love that. Oh, I'm about to cry. Wait. Oh, I'm not gonna cry. No, I'm a pimp. Nope, I'm not gonna cry. Pimps don't cry.
That's awesome. I love you, Tina.
But I love both of y'all very, very, very much. Khelek, I know we just recently met, so I know we don't have like a big friendship like me and Sooth do, but I do care about you, and I do appreciate your support earlier in the before the podcast when I was panicking and having all the anxiety. And I honestly do feel like if I wasn't here, y'all would have still did amazing on this podcast. Every week, y'all do amazing on all the podcasts. And I appreciate y'all for inviting me here. And I had a lot of fun.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, enough tears. I'm done.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Bye.